All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. And happy Thursday. Hope you're all feeling sharp, ready to go, and motivated for what should hopefully be an interesting trading day. A few things. So I've got some work going on here today. So there is maybe like a 10% chance that I might have to lose power in a short, for like very short period. Hopefully that does not occur, but give you guys all the heads up here before the day starts. The second element, pretty crazy weather day. So yeah, ton of snow, pretty windy, so potentially, right, that could be a little bit disruptive. And yeah, that's pretty much it, right? It's been a good trading week here so far. Been finding a lot of nice opportunities, some pretty good price action, maybe not perfect, but pretty good. And been able to take advantage of a few moves. Kind of like we talked about there yesterday, I made a little bit of a mistake, right, by allowing a basically just like ignoring my trading plan, right? I talked about this in my email last night, but basically, um, like I broke a trading rule. I kind of got addicted to the feeling that something was going to turn around and was willing to go down with the ship versus actually make, even if it was just like a negligible amount on that trade. And that's a mistake I shouldn't have made. Something that I'm working very hard on avoiding. Still happening every now and then, but something I'm trying to be very, very conscious of and just try to like completely eliminate or maybe get closer to like 90% instead of like 60 to 70%, right? From there, really good third and final trade of the day. So reset, refocus, right? And put ourselves in a good situation to absolutely just kind of find a nice breakout, playing nearly a 50-point move right on NQ certainly never hurts. And hopefully, right, we can find more of that type of kind of price action here today. What we saw there yesterday, and maybe been like we'll call it like a bit of a micro theme here, but we've been getting movements a little bit later on in the session, right? Yesterday we had pretty extended breakout type price action, and it occurred uh well after like the historical limit that we believe, right? So one of the stats that I need to get tattooed. I remember this so well, but basically that like the new high of day or the new low of day is most likely made in the sort of first 90 minutes of the session, and then the second most likely time is the last 90 minutes of the session. That accounts for about 80% of the time, right? So yesterday, a little bit of an outlier session, but with a slightly elevated VIX, a very busy speaking calendar, a lot of Fed speak, a lot of Trump tariff talk, a lot of kind of stuff going on with Doge. I think maybe that's creating a little bit of a catalyst for like almost like a more mature market, if that makes sense, right? Where it's taking a little bit longer to develop and to really set itself up. So obviously we'll keep an eye out for that. Really focusing on basically just not being too ambitious here too quickly. And yeah, hopefully we can keep kind of building out on some of the concepts that we've been working on here recently, right? I think a really uh, yeah, I saw someone say this yesterday, but like the rally's been like a little bit reluctant, and then it gets like dragged along, and I think that's a relatively, I think, a good visual. Like I'm thinking of it um like when you're pulling on your dog, he's like sniffing out a tree for too long, and you give him a little tug to get him away from it, and he gives you a little bit of fight first, and then eventually he's like, all right, it's not worth the fight, and he just like goes along to the next tree. It's kind of like that type of price action, kind of a crude metaphor, but it gets stuck, sniffs around for a little bit, right, and then price action ends up moving, and I think that's a really good way of calling it reluctant. like it's reluctantly moving on, right? Not getting stuck. So we'll see basically where the day takes us here today. Just like yesterday, we're gonna have some flexibility in both directions, and we should have a little bit more of a green light on CL as well, right? Crude's gonna have a little bit more flexibility for us here today, and yeah, but let's get after it. I don't have too much else to say. So first things first, right? We're gonna check the economic calendar here. The 6th, right? I got that correct. Yeah. Sorry. We got jobless claims here, fine. 2:30, we got some Fed speak, fine. Nat gas, not a big deal. And then 2:30. So should be a relatively clear trading session here today. And yeah, let's get after it. So first things first, what's the count here on ES? Let's start there. And then let's figure everything else out. Yeah, 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume, spot on. And certainly telling us that, hey, maybe a little bit, like a little bit of a gap up here this morning, but nothing too crazy. So maybe we have some space. What do we have immediately above us here on ES? So we're worried that maybe a low volume breakout's going to get stopped. What have we seen happen kind of directly above us? That next candle here to the left above us. So if I'm going to draw a red box from towards all-time highs, what's the first thing I see to my left? Oh, yeah, big rejection, right? So we'd expect probably for bears to want to try to defend this area here again. So definitely going to have probably a little bit of a bias towards that, right? Kind of a volume divergence rejection into a point of resistance is a historically pretty popular setup, right, from markets. And then targeting, right? Doesn't mean we can't break out here to the upside, right? We absolutely still can. But if I'm putting like a 51-49 split on the market, right, I would say maybe a little bit easier to get the downside rejection. Now, with that being said, right, we still want to trade the price action in front of us, not what we want to happen. And so we're going to make sure, right, that if it continues to be that like reluctant rally, we're just a little bit aware that, hey, sellers could step in and we need to be careful in managing that position. So we can't play this in both directions, but maybe a bit more caution to the upside, right? And then again, targeting basically just every 10 points, right? We're at 6,100 right now. So we'll go 6110, 6120. 6110 should be handled by the indicator, right? That's going to be, give or take, I imagine, our opening level here. And then to the downside, looking at 6090 and below. That gives me a lot of space. Does that make sense? We're saying, if I'm going to say the path of least resistance is in a direction, why would I say it's that direction? And what direction is it? So my thesis is, hey, maybe the easier trade is this way. Why? And what's the difference? Yeah, bearish, high volume rejection, right? Relative to the buying pressure we've seen in the last couple of days. So more volume here at these highs than volume here at these lows, right? Okay. NQ. How do we feel? What's the count? Ricky, come here. Yeah, 3 for 3 to the upside. Not a tremendous amount of volume, and we're still consolidating here inside this wedge pattern, right? We've got 3 points of contact here on the upper side. We've got maybe 3 points of contact here on the bottom. So again, right, a rejection off of this trend line wouldn't be particularly surprising. And although yesterday is increasing volume, it's really weak relative to, say, the last 10 days or so of price action, right? So we know that this is, although it's increasing, it's pretty pathetic, and it wouldn't be surprising, right, to see bigger volume show up. So I will be able to play a breakdown trade here, but it would need to be on bigger volume than yesterday. And I'll have an opportunity to play this here to the upside towards like that 22-1, that type of area. So if you have some flexibility here in both directions, even though it is a 3 for 3, and I'm simply willing to apply that exception here today because of the upper trend line resistance and because today's volume is increasing, but it's weak within context. Is that understood? Yeah? Cool. And we'll go down towards 21,000. So that's a pretty big move. We can get it. Let's see if it happens. All right, CL. Pretty interesting candle, right? Inside bar there yesterday on decreasing volume on a daily standard for crude oil inventories, right? Little bit of a maybe uncommon characteristic. Pretty interesting. Maybe that starts to give us a little bit of conviction, right? That a short-term bottom is in. Inventories yesterday couldn't make a lower low. You're getting lowest volume you've seen in, I mean, literally a month. Certainly makes you feel like, hey, this could be like that opportunity to get back up towards highs. So we're at what, 71.83 high a day, 73, or yesterday's high a day, 73-ish. Don't think I need to change anything from the bull case scenario. To the downside, though, I probably want to get under 70.75 or 70.70. Just get through basically that support zone we've identified, and then you have a green path to continue. If we think that maybe bears are a little bit exhausted here, right, and they couldn't push down on a narrative, we probably want to apply just a slightly stricter standard, right, for what a continuation narrative would look like. And then we'll go 70, 69, 50, yada, yada, yada. All right, cool. Apple, inside bar. And we're looking for a 233 breakout. How's everyone on YouTube doing this morning? A 228 breakdown. Everyone good? Feeling sharp? Awesome, awesome. All right, Tesla, technically a 3 for 3 here to the downside, but kind of the opposite of what we're getting on NQ, right? Pretty low volume 3 for 3 breakdown. So it wouldn't be surprising for this to be viewed as like a This is just where we've seen buyers step in, right? So dip buyers stepped in this green box, sellers stepped in inside that red box. So Tesla, right? Increasing volume, but not great increasing volume. So wouldn't be surprising, right, to see like BB reversal type setup on bigger volume than yesterday. And then otherwise here to the downside, right, you're looking for a 372 breakdown. Okay, Microsoft. Oh, looks like it might have just made a higher high. No, actually, looks like it's an inside bar. So double inside bar here means we need to break out over 415. That's fine. And then under here, that 409. So again, not too much changing here. Yeah, Erica. So I'm not trading stocks. I don't day trade them here inside the stream. But names like Apple and Tesla and Microsoft, they are the largest market cap weighting for the indexes. So I want to basically make sure that the story is consistent on both the index level and then on kind of like a leading name level. So if you want to trade stocks, you'd be able to trade that through your own personal brokerage, something like Thinkorswim, Interactive Brokers, even like a Robinhood or Webull would provide those opportunities. But I'm simply looking at these tickers just to build context over the strength of what my daily trend is. Okay, Amazon's got earnings here today. It's going to be a pure NA. Okay, AMD, pretty big volume, right? We'd expected that volume to show up. Again, similar thing, 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume, right? Gapping down here about 71 cents. So we're looking for a breakout here above 212. Sorry, 112 or find support inside yesterday's range. Okay, NVIDIA, similar story, right? Gapping up, maybe not on great volume, inside an area where we've seen a rejection occur before. So very similar narrative like we have here on Tesla and on NQ, right? Where it may be a little bit of an overreaction gap without a very impressive volume shelf. So though it is a 3 for 3 here to the upside, maybe the gap up is more enthusiastic than the volume profile would indicate, right? So, okay, we're still going to look for that 127, call it a gap fill and go. And then to the downside here, right, we could do a BB reversal on bigger vol than yesterday. Cool. Okay. Meta. Another green candle. This thing's unbelievable. Higher high, higher low. Increasing volume. You know, a lot of that volume, though, is going to be rejections, right? Because that candle shape here isn't particularly impressive. So I need to see probably a breakout here over 717 if I'm going to trust this here to the upside. Or, right, if I'm going to play a dip buy, it would have to be lower. It would have to be maybe off of like this under 700 again, right? Which I think is a little bit challenging. But it's very hard for me to want to short this until I'm confident that the trend has changed. Meta's a beast. It doesn't ever want to stop running. So I'm not going to be the first one here to call a top. Okay, speaking of lunatics, Netflix, right? So bullish engulfing candle got above that Tuesday high, pretty good, right? Held that breakout here, which is good. Not maybe the best volume profile here, which is interesting. So we'd like to see probably some volume return if we're going to get confident that there's a lot of continuation. If we're going to be looking at this as like a trend line bounce, we're looking at 2 points of contact here. So either yesterday's high or kind of like a retest here of the trend line. Either of those would be appropriate for a breakout trade. But now that we've already held previous high of day, a continuation narrative would be best case scenario. That's what I'm cheering for here. I don't want to see it pull back too aggressively. And would like to just basically see a breakout over 1012. Crazy to say $1,000 on Netflix. We're going to go NA until this trend resolves itself. Okay, and then Google, a little bit of dip buyers there yesterday, right? 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume. Didn't quite sustain yesterday, but maybe could still be in play. We need to get up into that gap, call it a 193. And then to the downside here, we probably need to get under 188. Not nearly as impressive of a recovery like we saw on AMD, right? So maybe a little bit more skeptical on this lower low, lower high, under the trend line here. Again, wouldn't be too surprising to see the thing break down at this point. VIX hanging out 15 spots, 6-1. So the pattern from last week pretty much repeating, right? Aggressive selling on Monday, and then kind of just fades. So very similar story here. Bitcoin still hanging out under 100,000. And yeah, certainly seems like there should be some interesting PA here today. Morning, SG. Any questions here, team? Everything kind of makes sense. Anything that maybe stands out? Yeah, let me know. All right, so no questions, team. I'm just gonna go make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day, and then jump back on here in a few minutes and set ourselves up for what should hopefully be a strong session. All right, teams. Let's have ourselves a big day here. Let's see how she goes. Any questions? Beautiful. Good volume so far. So ES already increasing, and Q is going to be close. Good morning, David. Not for me here this morning, Jeff. I had no issues. What's the error message you're getting? Oh, interesting. Yeah, so bear case here for NQ. We're at the upper end of our trend line in an area where we've seen a rejection happen here before. And yesterday's volume profile is not very impressive. So it wouldn't be surprising to see that continue to act as a form of basically consolidation, right? Reject here and revert back to the mean. slow, I would say, to start here. Pretty slow. Okay, so we're still looking, right, for that volume breakout here. Very slow to start. We've talked about this, right? The start of the session being a little bit of like a mature market, where it's just going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, a little bit of caution, right, before we end up getting any tremendous amount of follow through. So far, that's kind of the scenario that's playing out. And we'll see if we can get volume, right, to support any of these breakdown narratives. Pretty close. The fact that the second volume bar of the day couldn't even get outlier is definitely a concern. But let's see. Man, guys, apologies if I get distracted here today. It's snowing so hard. And it's like being a kid in school and you see it starting to snow. You like look out and you're like, ooh, maybe it'll be a snow day tomorrow. And again, that energy here today out of me. So what do we want to see here as a confirmation candle? Oh, that's brutal. Not like the good old days. So what do we need to see here to be confirmation? We've got increasing volume, right? It's outside of the opening range, but what's missing here? Yeah, candle shape, right? We want it looking like 1, 2, or 3. That looks more like number 5. So we just pass on that burden of confirmation here to another time frame, and we reset. If bears were strong, they would have held under those lows. But we can't quite call that a fake out here yet because it did hold under the previous low of day. So all we can do, right, within this context is pass on the burden of confirmation and see if maybe we can get something else going. Okay. 5-minute time frame, right? Not going to be increasing volume. It's a good enough candle shape, right? Looks more like a normal bullish than a least bullish. But the volume sucks, right? The volume is far from impressive. So again, can't quite bite yet. Same thing here on CL, not enough volume, not enough breakout. And Q, right, inside bar on the 5. So continuing to be very patient here as nothing is setting up immediately. There we go, Microsoft. Okay, CL maybe setting up here to the downside. Good volumes. We're going to start watching this. Okay, so let's see how this candle closes. We're going to have space down towards 71 and then 70.70. Okay, good close. So let's see where it finds support, right? And then breaks down. Right now, it's the pullback. You don't really want to use the pullback entry technique because too big, right? It's too big of a range. So now we can go aggressive. Stop loss 71.35. And we want to see a gentle pullback here into my zone. Right, it's got to get into 27 or above, ideally, right, that blue line. There's no need to feel rushed, right? If a trade is trying to make you feel like you need to rush your process, you're probably missing something, right, in your analysis. So worst case scenario, I just reset on the 5-min time frame and just play that, right, instead. If it's strong, it's always going to give me another chance. Don't know the contracts here yet, right? But let's say an entry off of 27, right, to 35 would be, it's 8 cents, right? So 8 times 10 is $80 a contract. So you could buy 5 within that context, right, at 27. The important thing here, Dennis, is to just understand, right, how much each thing moves a cent or a point per contract, right? And then do that math yourself. So a different entry, right? An entry at 27 versus at 30 going to allow you to have a different amount of risk, right? At 30, I could be buying 10 contracts. At 27, I could be buying 5. So yeah, the more understanding we have of how much something moves per tick, and then we can figure out that calculation ourselves. And then alternatively, right, if you bring up your Trade-Evate or Trading View order window, right, and you take stop loss and you type in stop loss at 71.35, price of 71.27, you're going to see the dollar amount that it's going to cost you per contract, and you can toggle and play with that until you're within your max loss number. So for myself, right, my max loss number is $500. So I'm playing with my contract sizing until I'm within that $500 range and within my entry zone, which is green line and red line. Okay, so now we're looking for the aggressive technique here. See where it finds support. Right, so always happy to share with you guys what I'm going to be sizing or how I'm going to be playing it. But my objective, right, is for everyone to have an understanding that they can make that decision themselves and then use me to basically sanity check, right? We're going to feel a lot more confident in our trades when we understand why we're making a certain decision. And so far, right, we've just avoided losing money here. Maybe would have made a bit. But no rush yet, right? So, okay, didn't see the reaction we wanted. So, Don, I've got a couple ways that I've got this set up, right? So, I have 3 order windows that I'm using, right? One with my funded futures, one with Top Step X, and then one with interactive brokers. Through my funded futures, I'm doing a trading view integration. So I have that set up. But truth be told, I'm doing the calculation in my head, right? I know that per contract on ES, it's going to move 50 bucks a tick. Per contract in NQ, it's going to move 20. And sorry, a point, not a tick. And then in CL, I know it's going to move 10. So I'm trying to do that math in my head just as much, right? If you don't want to do the math in your head, then TradingView or a calculator is going to accomplish that there for you. So why'd you sign up for Top Step X if you wanted to use TradingView? You could have just done Tradeovate. Okay, so watching here to the upside, right? NQ. Okay, so good enough candle close, right? Body of the candle significantly larger than the top wick. Held above 800, right? So that's fine by me. Let's see where this thing finds support. Around this area to 86.50 is not bad, right? That's pretty good position sizing I could get on this. Right around using that 800 here as my support target. Like kind of this area. Okay, so let's watch here carefully. No 10 a.m. data today. We're looking for support to get established. I'd argue it has not happened here yet. And this will be right on the buffer here, or right on the cusp of either being one or two contracts. All right, above 800 would be one contract, below would give me two. But so far, not really finding support inside our breakout candle range. So first thing, we started off the day, right? Well, maybe not the first thing, but one of the things we talked about here is it would not be surprising to see price action get easily rejected, right, inside yesterday's range. We have to put a little bit of a bias, we'll call it, right, towards seeing that hold. And it does not appear to be holding, so pretty good decision here so far. Where did my Bollinger, or not, my fib lines go? Yeah, so didn't find support. Fine by me, still no entry. Okay. Kind of reminds me a little bit of what we saw yesterday. On support off of 76. I'd have to see the aggressive now. Okay, back to looking at CL. Still hasn't made a lower low. Have to be the pullback technique now. And the pullback you'd like to see into 30. Right? At that blue line. Okay. So back to watching the old NQ. Honestly, guys, one of these days I might just become an NQ exclusive merchant. There she goes. Wow. So now we're watching right that 70-70 here. A big move. Okay. NQ back to increasing volume. Watching this, right? We want this to hold as our support. So our previous breakout, right? And not holding yet. On a deeper pullback, right? We'd want to see a support of 90-ish hold. Right? So again, previous breakout. But looking like we might get this as a better form of behavior. So it need to be a breakout above 821, right? So above previous high day, and then a pullback into 821 to justify this risk reward. A significantly deeper pullback, right? And maybe I'm starting to think about having my stop loss then at basically this fake out low. Okay. And that would be approximately 23 points of risk right at this 97, which is one contract, right? So let's see, stop loss, approximately 74. It'd be 1 unit. 9:55, no 10 a.m. data today. Come on. All right, guys. So I am in 797.75, one contract. See if it's got it. Come on. Points offside. Gotta bounce off of this 90, or I'm gonna look to close. Come on, find it, find it, find it. Okay, I got stopped out on that trade. December, geez, whoops. Feb 6th. Okay, so not an ideal start. Hmm. Hmm. Not a strong enough candle on ES to short. And Q, maybe we're starting to get that rejection look here. Okay, so rejection, right? We need to close under, we'll say 74. All right, you need this to close under this blue line here, 73.50. Didn't do so on the 3. We got some time here still on the 5. Same thing here on the 5, right? Increasing volume and a close under the blue line. Yes, just not strong enough candle, right? Couldn't hold under previous low of day. A little bit more challenging. CL, don't have the standard. Didn't do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if I understand your question. Are you asking how much margin you need per contract? Or are you asking something else? I think one contract is about $18,000, requires about $18,000 worth of margin. I don't know off the top of my head. If you Google interactive brokers or IBKR or whatever your broker is, what their margin requirements are, that'll be able to get you there. Each broker is going to have slightly different requirements. And honestly, I don't know what they are for each broker. Don't see anything here yet. Or at least not a second look. Yeah, a little bit of deja vu to yesterday. In my notes here on that NQ trade, like I felt like I should have gotten out early, had that feeling at minus $60 and didn't pull the trigger. That's a little bit annoying. Got to get better at trusting that. It'll be the red line if I get a breakout here to the upside. But we haven't, we don't really have an active setup trigger here yet. I'll break that down when something sets up. Well, I think in this context, right, it's that I wasn't green right away, and then that blue line didn't act as support, right? So we wanted to have seen approximately that like 89, 90 area act as support, and it didn't. Once it got back under that line, it didn't really get back up above. So the support that I wanted to have seen didn't really hold. So that should have been my reason to get out. And like the moves that happened back over it were pretty gentle and soft, right? They weren't nearly as enthusiastic as the moves lower. Oh man, is this a fake out scenario here? Maybe. I'd be possibly interested in this fake out here on NQ. Right, volume divergence reversal, so making or pushing towards new highs on decreasing volume. If that candle was actually strong, why didn't we get a breakout up and over? So this could be very much setting up here for a possible rejection thesis again. That would be what I'm looking for. And then it would be a basically overreaction flush above that blue line, and then pull back down and retest of that blue line for an entry towards probably low of day. Maybe do the red line here at the bottom. Okay, so there's that possible overreaction. Split the middle here. Okay, so blue line, right, didn't act as support. So let's again see if it fakes out. If it doesn't, we're back in business. Ooh, I think back in business for the breakout instead. Okay, so we're looking at that 831 needs to break out over stop loss 823. Hasn't happened here yet. There it is. So this could potentially be 2 contracts here. Hey guys, I am in 834.50, 2 contracts. Okay, maybe not a great entry here, objectively, outside of my entry zone. That's why I buy a tick. Let's see if it's got it. Bit bouncy here so far. Okay. Behaving well, holding high. So let's even get that breakout here now through 40. Not perfect. Okay, so we can hold through that 40 here now. I'm feeling like it's getting a little bit stuffed. Come on, get through and fly. Let's go. Much better. Auto hold 40. Don't like this. Come on, come on, come on. Hold the high. Respect it. Push, push, push. Struggling a little bit at these highs, right? Struggling a little bit at these highs. I want it to close over that, right? It's starting to feel like it might not do so. Come on. Every time it gets over 40, and that bounce back is getting smaller and smaller, but it's not sustaining. If I'm thinking about if a trade would behave strong, probably wouldn't be doing that. It certainly wouldn't be behaving this way. Okay, so I'm going to start looking for an exit here in a moment. Get a little weak pullback. Close this in the green. Okay, that's my close right there, 838. We're going to try this again here potentially if it rejects. Otherwise, this is again setting up as a double fake out. Right? That's a clear textbook rejection thesis. So no point holding on to this forever. So possible fake out scenario here, right? Okay, so we're looking at this rejection thesis here now, right, towards low of day. Fake out number 2 here. So stop loss, right, or fibs from profit target to stop loss at 48.75. I should push that up. All that 49.25. And so we can get a gentle pullback here again. And looking for a short as is. This is one contract. Would like to be able to get to 2. Kind of what I'm looking for here. But might struggle to get that here now. Okay, I'm going to only look for a singular contract here at this point. And we're looking at like an 825 now, right? 825 or higher. If, right, this holds and gives me that increasing volume, I can look to play this second candle, right? That's my entry. Don't necessarily have to do it right away. Okay, guys, I am in 825 on the dot. Let's see if this thing can break down. One contract. Come on. The theme of my day here, just a little bit, as I'm a bit too aggressive on my entry timing. I could have gone pretty much a deeper pullback on all my entries here so far. Let's see if they can break here. Again, at this area, this would have been 2 contracts, much better. I'm just a little bit rushy today for whatever reason. Okay, so far so good here, right? So far so good. Let's see if this thing can keep breaking down. But yeah, right thesis, a little bit early on the timing. But okay, right? Puts us to green here on the day. And it's starting to move nicely. Nice work, Jay. Congratulations. How's everyone feeling? Good? Nice little breakdown here. This move putting everyone green here on the day. Yes, no, maybe, hopefully. Good man, John. Good man. Let's go, Steven. Well done, sir. Yeah, that's the entry I should have gotten here. For sure, that's what I have in my notes. A little bit early on my entry. Right thesis, but a little bit early on my entry. I don't know why today. Nice work, Erica. Congratulations. Okay, so let's see where this thing holds. If you're worried about that, Steven, right, then close your trade as it's moving towards that. Once it invalidates, right, then you can always jump back in and take another shot towards low of day. Nice work, Chris. Hey, attaboy, Greg. 2,100. Congratulations. Freaking killers here, I tell you. Killers. So definitely have a chance to pyramid into this position potentially, right? Let's see where it closes, but that's definitely something I'm starting to think about. Obviously, we want this to close as a relatively strong candle shape, under 800 for sure. Nice work. All right, let's start thinking about here. Look, it's good volume, held under lows. I'd be looking for an entry off of 783. So let's do some math, right? 825. 825 plus 783 divided by 2, right? Means I can't see this thing pull back above 804, right? So if it pulls back above 804, I can't pyramid into this trade. If it breaks down, then I can look to add another position and keep my average price basically above what is hopefully then the stop loss. All right, so I got 2 points of contact I'm watching here now, right? A, can't pull back past 804. Want to see it break down here under 783 to build up a secondary position. Does that make sense? Nice work, Steven. Okay. So now, right, I will not be able to pyramid into this trade while keeping my average price above, right, my stop loss. So right now, my stop loss would be protecting a small loss. I want to be protecting a win, not a loss when I pyramid. My objective, right, is to increase my sizing while decreasing my risk. Same thing, right? 806. So it might just have to be on the next candle here. A little bit disappointing, but let's see if we can get that next leg lower. And the decision to pyramid or not to pyramid, right, is just literally that equation. So where would my average price need to be, right? If I added another contract, another 2 contracts, whatever it might be, is that below or above where I want my stop loss to be, right? In this case, it would have been below what I want my stop loss to be. And if I'm bearish, that's a bad thing, right? I want to be protecting a win, not protecting a small loss. Again, if this thing gives me the aggressive technique, maybe I could push my stop loss to be 97 right here. And then, right, I could do another pyramid opportunity, right, at that 83. Now, if it pulls back past 804 again, right, I know I can't add another position. And the reason, right, why I haven't closed on any pullback here is because we haven't made a lower low yet. So we've just been consolidating in my post-entry candle. That tells me that price action is strong, right? Or that bulls can't reclaim control here yet. So I've got no reason to get out of this position besides just like P&L watching, which I'm trying not to do. So now we've got a little lower low here under, gentle little pullback. I'm going to look to add another contract. Okay, cool. So just bought another contract there at 83.50. Let's see if this thing can break down. Doesn't appear to be. Come on, come on, come on. A little fake out would be cruel. An average price for me, right, is 804.25. And stop is at 800. Again, probably could have gotten a better price, right, on this pyramid instead of at that 83. So fighting maybe a little bit of greed here today. Or like a rush to make money. Best. Hmm. Not great. Lower low, lower high, increasing volume. I'd say not a tremendous amount of reasons to look to stay in here. So first little move lower, I'm going to look to get out. Ugh. Come on, come on, come on. All right, guys, I'm out at 8:02. That is not particularly satisfying. Not particularly satisfying at all. Ah. Mean, 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 mean. So still down about 200 bucks here on the day. That was a frustrating trade. A little bit of a fuck up. It's okay. Tried to give it as much time as I could. Yeah, maybe a little bit too greedy. Yeah, but if I look at it on the daily, I wouldn't say that this is particularly different story here yet. I would say it's like relatively indecisive price action on both. Well, at least we didn't hold till this point. And so again, right, here's a good reminder, right? Mistake of not cutting my trade the moment it lost its support instead of waiting till my stop loss is what's preventing me from being green on the day here, right? If I had taken a $60 loss or a $200 loss, right, instead of a $480 loss, I'd be green and I'd be feeling good. A little bit of like a self-inflicted wound there. Now, still well within striking distance, right, of making my money back and doing things along those lines, 10 points away. It's fine. But I've made it harder on myself here today, right, than maybe I needed to have done. So, okay, something to focus on, right, something to think about here with that next decision. And I mean, even if I just clean up, right, my entries by 5 points apiece, there's that difference, right, already. So if I'm thinking about my trades here so far today, it's been a little bit too aggressive in pulling that initial trigger, not waiting for a pullback towards the support price, which has happened on every single trade. And that's making me just a tad bit more aggressive than I need to have been. Okay, we're back in business here for a possible short. Shame, right? It wants to fake out, but we're back in business here. This time we'd be targeting low of day. Again, let's see. This would have to be the pullback technique now, right? And it would need to be pretty high up. It would need to be 815-ish, right, as an entry here on the pullback technique to justify 84. Maybe I could go 80 here. But even that's tough. That's going to be about 2 contracts. Yeah, pretty aggressive little rug pull there. Annoying, right? Because this is the move that we expected after that breakdown. It just had to climb up 40 points before it broke. That's a bit of a pain in the ass. The term I would normally use to describe that move is very not safe for work. I'll keep that to myself for now. Yeah, we'd be looking 815 or above, right? Oh, funny world we live in. Okay, right? This could happen here pretty quick. Okay, 10 points. And so we're looking for it to get rejected at that price, right? And then enter. So we're 60 ticks away, right? Might not get there. Okay, so we might be back in play here for the aggressive entry technique, right? Still an inside bar. Be nice, right? 120 points away. So say 60 plus 25, right, is 85 minus 3. So can't really go back above 82. Right, if we're going to want to use the aggressive. Watching for this combo, right, or this combo. Right, the little inside bar fake out would be reasonable, and breakdown and continuation here under low of day would also be reasonable. Okay, so still watching here, right? Still watching. For now, stop loss would be 780. Still no lower low. Okay. Now we want to watch it pull back, right, into 77.50, or sorry, 5750. Close. The reason I can't pull the trigger here, right, is it's above my max loss number. So as is, be risking about 515, 520 bucks. A little bit more, right? So I need like 1 or 2 more points higher for an entry. Oh, so I've seen it as low as 510. I mean, so still watching. Yeah, just focus on the price action. Don't worry about how it makes you feel, right? That's a trick. Focus on what you can control, right? You've defined what you want to see price action look like before you enter a trade. All your energy goes to that, not to thinking, ooh, this is moving fast. Right? You slow down price action by being deliberate. Great entry, Preet. Good luck. Didn't get a fill. Brutal. Okay. Closing. Trying again. Oh, that's tried to get 58. Annoying. Good entry, Igor. Good entry. And might get a chance here on this candle close as long as it holds under that blue line. Still nothing. It's looking a little bit better here. Hey guys, I'm in 758.75. 758.75. Let's see if this thing can break down. Only one contract. Well, I'd say a little bit of slippage on my order here. Come on. So I'd say third trade here, or entry's not been perfect. Again, like in a rush to make money here today is not a good trade. Well, inside bar feels maybe a little bit of deja vu here. Come on. Die, die, die. Come on. Come on. Come on. Gotta start flushing here. Otherwise, I gotta get out. Come on. Come on. Come on. Can't see it really break down under my entry price and then pull back again. That makes me feel well, it makes me feel like I can get a better entry, right? To make this trade easier for myself. What it makes me feel. Hate this feeling though of not being correct and not being wrong. Took the stop. I'm getting frustrated here. So stopped out, right? Down a little bit over 600 bucks here on the day. Little fake out higher here, maybe. I'm very tempted to try this again here at this better price. The breakdown, fake out, post inside bar. I think of is the fake out the better entry here, right? So buying on this little pullback back under now and basically getting the buffer right of being immediately correct. So 784 would have to be the stop for now. And we want to see it pull back, right? Get under 81.50. So then stop loss 87.25. Find that blue line to act as support for a downside move. But watching here very carefully. This is where we need to see resistance step in. Okay, guys, I'm in 781.25. Very, very tight stop loss. 2 contracts. I'm just watching this like a hawk for a second. Come on. Took the stop minus 360. One, two, three, four, 5 trades here today. I feel like I've been shaken out of most of my ideas. Annoyed. Right? Like here's the thesis playing out. Maybe I have to try this again. Stop at 90. Very frustrating. Oh, fuck. Trying to find the logic here for this trade, right? I do feel like my previous thesis has been mostly correct. My timing here has mostly been wrong. I don't feel necessarily tilted. I would say that that's the right frame of mind. But I'm trying to find a pathway here to find a good entry price without having to rush it or without getting faked out. So I'm just playing scenarios through my head here, right? I'm trying to see, okay, what might work, what might not work. Just want to be clear, guys, right? It's not about speeding up or slowing down. It's about reclaiming or being conscious of your mental capital so you can just trade every setup, right, that shows you, right? So I'm trying to focus on keeping my mental capital, keeping those reserves full so that I can look at price action objectively instead of it being a red day, right? I don't think I have an objective reason to make a decision here yet. And I'm well within my max loss number, right? So I don't have to be aggressive here. Right? So we're not changing behavior because things have gone well or things have gone bad. I think that's a tremendous overcorrection. That we're focusing, okay, how can we be impartial, find our best A plus setup, and then go from there. Yeah, so what do you think is missing here on NQ to the upside, Dennis? What's missing? Yeah, the vol's not there, right? So not anything bigger than what we've seen on this breakdown or even this breakdown. So no reason yet to think that this is a personality change here. Now, ES may be a little bit of a different story. Maybe NQ here on this 3-min could give me the outlier volume. And then we're back in business. We got to make sure, right, that volume is outlier on our signal. And then once we have that outlier base, right, to determine which path basically we can go, we could then slow down just everything else, right? So, okay, bit better there on ES. Maybe that's the focus. The volume here is not terrible either, right? It's bigger than all the consolidation. Question is, do I prefer E or ES? I prefer NQ. It's been stronger all day. Volume isn't as strong, but the profile, no lower low since the open. Yes, right, made the lower low. Back up above 800 on NQ versus ES got stuck at 99. Okay, let's see. Who wants to behave here? Could be something like this for now, right? Looking for a pullback into 89.50. Find support off of that zone with a stop loss at 81.75. Or, right, we eventually get that aggressive breakout and we can look for a pullback into 807. So setting up my stop loss here first, right? 81. And I'm looking at 89, right? That was my entry. So that could possibly be 3 contracts, right? And still be within my max loss. Now, if I take that max loss, then that would be me done for the day, hitting my max daily loss. Thinking about $900 here. Right down on the day. So painful, but still well within striking distance. And truth be told, I'm not thinking about the number here too much. This will be if today ends, for example. If I just lose power right now, stop trading, don't get another playoff. My second red day here of the year. I don't want to overreact to that, right? It's not all things considered, right? It's not a big deal. I can't make it feel as if it's like the death of hope or something. Don't need to make life more dramatic than it needs to be. Now we're looking at 789 stop loss. Probably 1 contract here. Okay, maybe I can get the aggressive technique here. Get the tighter sizing. That would be nicer for sure. $800 stop loss now. So 2 contracts. One inside bar here still. So watch him, watch him, watch him. Okay, so breakout, consolidation, holding above 800. So far, so good. Okay, so now watching, right? Stop loss back to 804. It allows me to get bigger sizing potentially, right? That would allow me to go 4 contracts with an 810 entry. Okay, so watch closely here. I'm really focusing on just getting tight risk, being green right away, and getting a good entry price here on this position. Right? Those are the variables I'm focusing on. And that's it, right? I'm in at 810 on the dot. I'm on. Kind of looks like a fake out, right? That's it. Took the stop. Classic. Fuck. I don't know what to think today now. Okay, so uh, I have a lot of feels like it should be a trade or feels like it could be a trade type sensations. Not necessarily getting anything that looks particularly textbook. I really want to play this trend line rejection. That really feels like it might be the best. But I'm also straddling right at my like 1% number here on the day. 1464 to the downside. Sounds good, Antonin. Enjoy. It's going to sound like champagne problems. This being my second red day here of the year, feels unfamiliar. I think that's and the unfamiliar is uncomfortable. I don't want to accept it. How's everyone feeling? Okay. Definitely not how I expected today to go. 11:29, still early-ish. Version time of day. So, I mean, look, a few positives here, right? This is the important thing to focus on. Hey, okay, kind of had like a pretty shitty win rate day, objectively, right? Obviously, terrible win rate day, but it's not like a $12,000 loss or anything along those lines, right? Well, that's pretty nice. So still well within sort of my max loss number, right? Or like that lockout number. That's a positive. The other positive, right? A few things to focus on and think about, right? As I try to continually improve here. Entry timing today has not been perfect. And the pyramid, right? Probably a little bit, it gave back too much on that trade. There has been enough there to be green today, but just didn't take my chances. I had a couple like fake outs as well, right? Which never feels good on what would have been good wins. I don't think I've fundamentally just seen like the market wrong here today. Maybe a little bit of self-sabotage with early entry timing and just getting like faked out, right? So if I'm getting faked out and things move, probably means that my entry was wrong. So I have things that I can focus on and try to improve, right? It doesn't have to be this like empty feeling type day. I've got tuition that I've paid to the market and theories over why basically I failed the test today. So that's a good thing, right? That's a positive. I've got something that I can learn and study. But yeah, I certainly wish it was a little bit nicer. A little bit nicer. Kind of bull flagging a little bit. Oh yeah, I mean, look, it's gonna happen, right? I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose a lot. So that is unfortunately a part of this game. We're playing a game of probabilities, not a game of absolutes. So there's just gonna be times, right, where you get your ass kicked. Gonna be times where you kick ass. Okay, right? Still green on the week here, so ultimately can't complain here too much. But made things harder on myself than they needed to have been, I think, to a certain extent today. Okay, so maybe back in play here. Failed breakout, now back under, double fake out, we can call it. Separation away from 800. I have a choice here. All right. One more shot here at the cuckoo nest. I need a gentle pullback here. Hey guys, I'm in 782, two contracts. All right, I think that's it, done for the day then. Another fake out stop loss. That's so frustrating. Fuck. Faked out by literally kick. Oh. Honestly, that's so cruel. All right, guys, I'm going to call it here. No point doing anything else. I've gotten faked out too many times to look at this rationally at this point. $18.35.74. Nice work, Steven. Fuck. Frustrating day. Brutal. Yeah, I don't know if today was a banner day by any means. Kind of got my butt kicked by fake outs. Unfortunately, that's going to happen. Maybe a little bit too aggressive in the end, like thinking about it in hindsight. I can't really feel like I had the right thesis much of the day. Just timing was wrong. Entry was early, maybe pressing a little bit too much. A humbling day for sure. All right. Any questions here, team? Look, still nicely on the week here, right? Still not anything to complain about too badly. But yeah, today a little bit of a frustrating day. Any questions here, team? Any questions here, team? Any questions? All right, team. Final call here. Final call. Sounds good, Greg. We'll talk soon. All right, guys. Well, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have yourselves a great rest of the trading day, and catch up with a few of you here in our one-on-ones later this afternoon. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll talk soon.